And we welcome those of you who just watched Texas A&M and Arkansas. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Eamon McEnany inside the Horseshoe Ohio Stadium in Columbus on an overcast and chilly day with a light rain falling. Just underway, no score. Second possession for Ohio State. Michigan State's had it once. So far we've had 2 3-and-outs, and the Buckeyes looking at another if they don't convert on 3rd and 9. Braxton Miller carries for a yard. Right now it is a woeful offense for Ohio State.
And it's what Michigan State is doing to them defensively, because they're taking away the receivers on the outside, and then they're allowing, you mentioned it, Sean, with the safety drop down, guys like William Golston and Max Bulla, and people are being able to drop down and make plays at the line of scrimmage. And until those receivers can separate outside from that coverage, they're going to continue to have that problem.
George McCreadis will snap to Ben Buchanan, who's in to punt for the second time. Sean Martin back at his own 40. Cannon got it off, and it's a good punt with the wind. Martin from the 33 trying to dance away, and did for a moment. It's a 2-yard return, taken down by Ryan Shazer. 46-yard punt. 5 minutes played, no score here in Columbus. D'Antonio's players, 24 players on the Michigan State roster hail from the state of Ohio. Coach D'Antonio, a native Ohioan, largely because of that factor. Coach D'Antonio shut his players off from talking to the media this week. Didn't want them to say anything inflammatory. Le'Veon Bell carries. He's one of the Ohioans from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He said he was looking forward to this. He was recruited by Ohio State, but they want him to be a safety. Mark D'Antonio's staff gave him a chance to be a running back, and he's been a very good one. All freshman team in the Big Ten last year. B.J. Cunningham's from Westerville, right up the street. 11-yard gain. It's the first down of the game for either team. The lone back is Le'Veon Bell. A little bit more of a bruising power back, where Baker is the home run hitter among their running back tandem. 2 yards there for Bell. 2nd and 8 to come. Travis Howard made the tackle.
And Sean, regardless of who they have running back there, they're really dependent upon that offensive line. And they've been banged up a little bit. They've got guys in and out of the lineup. They're looking for consistency there. And because of the inconsistency up front, that, I believe, has caused the quarterback Cousins to be a little inconsistent.
Mentioned earlier, playing without their center Blake Treadwell, also without starting tackle Skylar Berkland, who fractured his ankle in the loss to Notre Dame in South Bend, their only loss of the season. B.J. Cunningham the catch, and the run after the catch gets a first down to the 41-yard line of Ohio State. 11 yards on the completion. Cousins to Cunningham.
Dan Rouchard, the offensive coordinator. This is good. This is nice. Get the running game going inside, and then as soon as you see that corner back off, anticipate that and try to get your quarterback into some rhythm.
39 straight regular season games with at least 1 catch for Cunningham. 169th career catch, #1 all-time at Michigan State, and they've had some great wide receivers there. Plaxico Burress, Andre Rison, Charles Rogers among them. Le'Veon Bell sliced down to the 32-yard line. About a yard short of the first down. 9-yard run for Bell. Said he'd have a lot of friends and family, even a lot of friends who Ohio State here at the game today.
Well, he's going to have a lot of friends in the stands, but his best friends are going to be that offensive line. Now, keep in mind, what they're going against is a very young Ohio State defensive front.
Second and 1. After the fake, Cousins got a good block. Cleared him to make a throw, and it is caught. Touchdown, B.J. Cunningham.
That's a fantastic job on 2 fronts. You got Garrett Selleck, who came back, and the crowd gave a little bit of woo because they thought it was a clip, but it's inside the tackle box and it's perfectly legal, and it's a huge block that allow Cousins to get outside, and then Cousins gets B.J. Cunningham, points to him to get to the middle of the field, and it's a touchdown.
Of 33 yards, Michigan State has the early lead. Midway through the first quarter, Dan Conroy the extra point. Seven nothing Spartans. A happy homecoming to the Columbus area for B.J. Cunningham, who's been waiting for this game for years.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard, and in part by Prudential. Prudential, bring your challenges.
Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio, where Michigan State has taken a 7-0 lead on a 33-yard touchdown pass. Kirk Cousins to B.J. Cunningham, 15th career touchdown reception for Cunningham, 7th now all-time in Michigan State history. Evan Muma will kick off for the second time. Chris Fields and Jordan Hall back to receive it. Another kickoff into the wind for Muma. So it comes down at the 9 to Jordan Hall. He's down at the 28-yard line. Let's go back and take a look at the Michigan State touchdown after some pushing and shoving following the kickoff.
Yeah, I want you to keep in mind the tackle box really is from tight end to tight end. And you're going to see Garrett Selleck is going to come back, and this is a perfectly legal block. That's fine. It's well within the range. And now, because of that block, he can buy some time. And Cousins is able to see down the field, and what he saw, Sean, was that the middle of the field was wide open. So watch him direct Cunningham. Right there. Move to the middle. He throws it to where no one is, and it's 6.
Beat their best cover corner, according to the Ohio State coaches, Travis Howard, for the touchdown. Now can this sputtering Ohio State offense get anything going? Jordan Hall turned the corner, got taken down by Marcus Rush, another Ohioan from Cincinnati. Let's check in with Robert Flores back in the studio. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Sean, Taco Bell studio update. Georgia Tech leads the nation in both scoring and total yards per game, and they score first today against NC State. Orwin Smith, Georgia Tech 4-0 for the first time since 1990. They're up 7-0 in the first quarter. Sean, Matt.
That is a big play running offense. This is an Ohio State offense that leans heavily on the run, but they're not getting a lot of big plays. Today, 7 plays from scrimmage for a total of 12 yards. Miller pitches it out to Carlos Hyde. 235-pounder. There's a flag down. There are 2 flags down. One near the end of the run, one back near the line of scrimmage. Trenton Robinson chased down Hyde. It was actually their leading rusher for the season because Hall missed the first 2 games of the year.
That looks like there's a hold on the outside, Sean.
Holding. Offense. Number 80. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
So that negates the best play from scrimmage for the Bucks so far today.
You see him right down here. He's into him, and he's working on Denard. It's 37, and he just got a little bit too much of him in the estimation of the official. Sean, they are going to, until they throw, they are going to struggle running the football. You cannot be one-dimensional in the Big Ten. They'll get you every time.
Miller's 1 for 2 passing for 3 yards. Hall taken down, and here come the Boo Birds for the play calling. William Golston made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Coaches say Braxton Miller is a mature young man who has been asking for them to put more on him, more on his plate, and let him try to make some plays. But obviously they're very reluctant to do that here in the first quarter.
Well, it sounds like what happened is the Michigan State defense must have heard that, because they're getting plenty of guys on him so far. William Golston off that edge is just a sophomore. He shows a lot of promise. Between him and 44 Marcus Rush, they got 2 good young players.
Golston 6'7" and every bit of it. Miller steps back under duress now. Lofts it up for grabs, and it was almost intercepted. He got hit as he threw a lob up in the air, and Chris Norman came very close to intercepting it.
He's going to try to create. So there's no separation down the field, okay? And so right at the end, that's when he looked like a freshman. Just throwing the thing up. Max Boa comes and plants him. You got to take care of the football before anything else.
There comes Ben Buchanan to punt again. Very low, wobbly punt that gets a good bounce. Deshaun Martin backed away from it. Buckeyes' Nate Ebner downed it at the 32-yard line. So that's where Cousins and the Spartans will take over, already leading 7-0. Back in Columbus, tailgate week fired up by Kingsford. Charcoal continues from the Horseshoe. Michigan State leading 7-0. Ohio State without a first down and only 16 net yards of offense. Spartans scored on a 33-yard touchdown pass. Kirk Cousins to B.J. Cunningham. Cousins gives to Edwin Baker, and he's tripped up at the 38-yard line by Etienne Sabino, a linebacker, with help from Bradley Roby, who whiffed.
You see Selleck 85. He secures the edge, and then once you get the edge, it's just down that left side. Just a nicely done job by Linthicum inside. They're going to continue to do that, Sean. They're going to have to commit. Ohio State will have to commit more people to up front.
5 wides. Quick throw by Cousins. First down. Le'Veon Bell pushed out by Christian Bryant, the safety. 10-yard gain. First down, Michigan State.
So they come out in one back, then they spread you and go with the back spread out, so give you a 5-wide look, and they're all he's doing is allowing Kirk Cousins to get a mismatch. What is the best mismatch? And then he goes after it.
Only Jeff Smoker has won more games as starting quarterback at Michigan State than Cousins with his 19. Smoker winner 21 times. Le'Veon Bell taken down behind the line of scrimmage. That time Bradley Roby did not whiff on the tackle. Redshirt freshman out of Sewanee, Georgia, with a nice play back at the 43 rather of Michigan State.
Yeah, that's really well done. And what they do is they take away all the blocking and allow the DBs to replace. That time Roby held his outside, held the edge, came up, made a nice play.
Loss of 7 on the play. Edwin Baker takes over at running back. Dan Roshar says they'll ride the hot hand if it's Baker or Bell. Quick set by Cousins. Cunningham the catch. Down 3 yards short of a first down, but that's a 14-yard gain. Roby again on the stop with help from the linebacker Andrew Sweat.
B.J. Cunningham and Kirk Cousins, they have a great feel for each other, and they're on the same page. Cunningham is the guy who, when you need something to happen, when you need a play, that's who Cousins feels most comfortable with.
Larry Caper in at running back. Ordinarily when he's in, it's a passing situation. 3rd down and 3 from the 44 of Ohio State. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Hand off inside to Caper. Loss of a yard on the play. And a decision for Mark D'Antonio.
I think Jonathan Hankins had all 335 pounds of him sitting right in there. Tough to move against.
They're going to punt. Don't you think that's the right play here, given the struggles of Ohio State? Don't give them a shorter field. Make them march the long field.
Trust your defense here.
Mike Sadler had trouble with a snap earlier. It's a better snap. No problem on the catch. And a fair catch made by Jordan Hall. Near the 13-yard line. 32-yard punt. Tonight on ABC. The 8th-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers look to stamp themselves as a Big Ten threat in their first conference game. And what a tough one to start with. Against 7th-ranked Wisconsin. in Madison under the lights. Number 8 Nebraska, number 7 Wisconsin. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, a huge part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford tonight at 8 Eastern. First matchup of 2 top 10 teams at Camp Randall Stadium since 1962. From the 13, Carlos Hyde takes the deep handoff, and he's stopped for a loss. Looks like Michigan State has 14 men in the box.
Well, that's because Gerald Worthy right there is worth about 3 extra guys. He just blew off the ball. Watch him, number 99.
Whoa.
Yeah, he just, nice swim move, and then he's to the second level, just abuses the fullback and sets up a 2nd and long. Worthy has all the skills, Sean, to be elite. He needs to put them together consistently, and he'll be pretty darn good.
The coaches were talking about how he was fired up all week. Another of the native Ohioans from Huber Heights, same hometown as the quarterback for the Buckeyes, Braxton Miller, who gave it to Carlos Hyde. Nice move at the line of scrimmage, and a tough run across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Will set up 3rd down and 2 for the Buckeyes, still looking for their first down of the game.
Well, Hyde gives him some speed. He's got very good speed. He can get through the hole quickly. He gives you a nice burst. This is big right here, this 3rd and short. Ohio State has not converted. They have looked severely pedestrian. This is big for them in terms of getting some confidence and continuity in this offense.
They haven't been good on offense through the first 4 games against a pretty weak schedule. Now they're playing a team that, at least statistically, has been one of the best defenses in the country. There's the 1st down, the completion to Chris Fields, and he did not go down. They will give him those additional couple of yards as he spun forward to the 33. 1st down, their first of the game with under a minute to go in the quarter on a 12-yard gain.
It all starts with protection, and because of that, Braxton Miller can gain a little confidence just sitting down in that zone. Very well thrown right where it had to be, and picks up the 1st.
Isaiah Lowe's Curtis Drummond the tackle for the Spartans. Half-minute left, opening quarter. It's not as if Miller cannot throw. The coaches say he's actually a very good, mechanically sound thrower of the football. Carlos Hyde ahead for 5 to the 38-yard line. Will likely be the end of the first quarter. The only touchdown in this game, a 33-yard pass. Kirk Cousins to B.J. Cunningham. End of 1 in Columbus. Michigan State on the road, leading Ohio State 7-zip.
Are you ready for some football? It's the NFL on ESPN. The New York Jets and Mark Sanchez head to Baltimore to take on the rugged Ravens. Then on Monday Night Football, the Colts battle the surging Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jets, Ravens, live Monday. Colts, Bucks on Monday Night Football. It's the NFL on ESPN.
Back at Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoe, end of 1 quarter, Michigan State leading Ohio State 7-0. As the second quarter begins, Buckeye ball, 2nd and 5. Just beyond their own 38-yard line. Braxton Miller, true freshman quarterback, out of the shotgun, and the right tackle flinch. J.B. Shugarts, senior.
False start. Offense. Number 76. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
And Jim Bolden, the offensive coordinator, told us Shugarts, who's a veteran, making his 27th career start, has been playing his best football of his career lately.
And they only have a couple seniors on that offense, just like they only have a couple seniors on that defense, so they need all the leadership they can get.
2nd and 10 now, low snap. Miller bobbled it and was wise just to pounce on it. Lost back to the 30. Let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. Not a lot of offense to summarize, particularly on the Ohio State side. Just 42 yards of offense in the first quarter and 1 first down. And Matt, they were 91st in the country in total offense coming in, and that's having played Akron, Toledo, Colorado, and Miami.
Yeah, they haven't been dynamic, but you know, Sean, as poor as those numbers look, they're one play away from tying this thing right up.
3rd and 13. Deep drop by Miller. He can make good things happen when he tucks it down to run. He hesitated near the sideline, and as a result took a hit.
I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't like it, but it's his fault. He stopped short of the boundary and turned himself into a piñata for, among others, Johnny Adams.
A piñata, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. They beat on that piñata right at the end. Look at them converge, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Why would you stop?
And the tackle started in bounds.
Yeah, it was all clean. It was all good. That one baffled me.
Keyshawn Martin back for the punt of Ben Buchanan. Already the 4th punt for Buchanan. They came after him. It wasn't a very good punt, but he got a nice bounce down the sideline. Then Keyshawn Martin just batted it to make sure it didn't keep bouncing
Smart play
along the sideline. It was a smart play. 7-0 Spartans. They'll have the ball back after this. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Eamon McEnany back at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. Early second quarter, 1st and 10 Michigan State. Kirk Cousins and the Spartans leading 7-0. Ohio State, the only team that Michigan State has not defeated under Mark D'Antonio in his 5th year as coach. They haven't played them the last 2 years. There's been limited opportunity. Good throw by Cousins. Good catch by Martin. First down. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, South Carolina is 4-0 for the first time under Steve Spurrier, but receiver Alshon Jeffrey has yet to find a rhythm. Just 1 touchdown catch through the first 4 weeks. But look at this catch from Steven Garcia. Then he just bullies his way into the end zone. PAT was blocked. They're up 3. Meantime, West Virginia only up 7 on Bowling Green on ESPN3.com.
All right, Robert, thank you. South Carolina undefeated, but they have not been particularly impressive yet. After a 12-yard gain on the pass completion, Edwin Baker, the ball carrier, to the 48-yard line. He got 4 more. Tackled by Christian Bryant, sophomore, part of a young Ohio State secondary, and they're youthful all over this football team. In the secondary, Bryant and C.J. Barnett, both sophomores. Travis Howard's a junior, and the other corner's a freshman.
The only senior, Sean, is Sweat. Everybody else is an underclassman on that starting D.
It's unusual to come here to Ohio State to do a game and see so much youth and inexperience throughout. The 2 deep. Screen dropped by Edwin Baker, the incompletion maker.
Well, that was a nice call. That could have been a completion maker had he been able to hold on to that thing. But I like the call. Sets up this 3rd down. Big down here for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's see if youth is served.
Buckeyes also playing without Nathan Williams, senior, one of their best pass rushers, maybe their best defensive player, out for the 4th week in a row with a knee injury. Played in only the first ball game. They'd love to have him, particularly on 3rd and 6, to come after Kirk Cousins. They rush only 3. He zips one to Keith Nickel for a first down.
Sean, that was all Kirk Cousins. And he put some zip, like you said. There was a little mustard on that thing, and it had to be because the window closed very fast. Now, Cousins reads the coverage, which is perfect. And then Nichols does a nice job of sitting down in that zone, right in the void. And you see that was spun perfectly, and Nichols makes a nice catch. Nickel.
Yes.
I should have called him Dime then if it was Nichols, right?
Might have beat dime coverage there, Nickel. 10-yard gain. Cousins is 6 out of 8 for 91. Play action pass. Man breaking open. It's over Keyshawn Martin's head with Bradley Roby in coverage. Cousins in his 3rd year as the starting quarterback and a team captain for the 3rd year in a row. That says a lot about what his teammates think of him. The only other 3-year captain was Robert McCurry back in the 1940s.
Yeah, you don't really hear a lot about 3-year captains, which really speaks to his leadership skills, and he has them, and he knows how to use them. He can make all the throws, Sean. He's got good arm strength, but as of late, he has not anticipated as well as he did a year ago. That's what he needs to improve.
Todd Anderson, the fullback, was the move man. Edwin Baker trying to find a hole. Could not. Driven back by the Buckeyes. Travis Howard with help from Jonathan Hankins. No gain on the play.
Which sets up this 3rd and long. And so let's go back to that last point when we talk about anticipating a throw. On that last 3rd down, you saw that he understood exactly what the coverage was and knew where Nickel would sit down and anticipated that he would be there, and the ball came out at the same time that the receiver was breaking. That's the same thing he's going to have to employ here.
3rd down and 10. Michigan State 1 out of 3 on 3rd down. Cousins with plenty of time. Too high for Nickel, and it drops incomplete. Flag
Before
down.
the snap, false start, offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Couldn't hear the whistles. Nobody in the stadium did, but it's a break for Michigan State because they'll get another chance on a 3rd down conversion, the first penalty against Mark D'Antonio's team.
And Sean, that was a great example when Cousins, when he rushes himself a little bit, the ball comes out of his hand high. And when he sits in there and, and his mechanics are good and he takes the nice steps, the ball comes out really well.
3rd and 15 from the Ohio State 47. Crowd loud again. Cousins up to the line to holler some instructions. Keyshawn Martin went in motion. Catch made by Nickel, but he did not get the first down. Interesting decision now for D'Antonio. They're about 4 yards short of the first down. The long career field goal for Dan Conroy's 50. From here would be 53 or so, but with a pretty brisk breeze at his back. They're going to go for the first down.
Yeah, so what he's doing is he's trusting his defense. That's managing the game. You're seeing the ebb and flow of the game, and you're saying, listen, my defense, if I have to rely on them, they've been playing well enough. Let's take a shot right here on 3rd down. Or 4th down, rather.
Crowd as loud as it's been all day. 5-man rush. Cousins off his back foot, incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Brian Linthicum, with C.J. Barnett in coverage. And Simon after Cousins.
Simon got a little bit of pressure, but Cousins put that ball right where it had to be. Linthicum has to make this catch. That's good coverage on the backside. C.J. Barnett is all over him, but that ball is right in his hands, Sean. That has to be a catch.
Tough to tell if Barnett got a piece of it.
Well, Simon got a piece of Cousins as the ball was being let go.
Well, good field position for this Ohio State offense. Will they let Miller take a shot down the field at some point? Now the right guard flinches.
False start, offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Corey Lindsley is a backup in there for Luke Fickell. Here's Amon.
Sean, after the Buckeyes went 3 and out 2 drives ago, the offense was met by angry and emotional coaches. After the last drive stalled, it was completely different. Calm. Many of the coaches went to the grease board to go back to fundamentals and draw up the plays. Should be interesting to see how the offense responds to the more analytical approach this time.
Jordan Hall just powers ahead. He got a couple to the 34-yard line. Marcus Rush made the tackle. Joe Boserman was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, but he was ineffective, particularly in their ugly loss at Miami. They completed only 4 passes as a team in that game at Miami. 4 for 18. They weren't a lot better last week against Colorado. Completed only 7 passes, but it was enough to win.
You can see only 40 total yards.
2nd and 13. Take to the tailback Hall. Miller, his pass is batted down. Looked like it was William Golston, sophomore from Detroit. And the numbers are not pretty. 110th out of 120 in passing entering today's game. 91st in total offense. And as we said, that was against Akron, Toledo, Colorado, and Miami. This game is the first of 4 straight against ranked opponents in the Big Ten. You would think it would be tougher for Jim Bowman.
There's Jim right there.
To get the offense moving against the competition to come. Last year, Jim Tressel was heavily involved in the play calling. It falls solely on Jim Bowman now. Timeout called by Michigan State. With 9 minutes to go in the first half. 3rd and 13 upcoming for Braxton Miller and the Buckeyes when we come back to Columbus.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And American Airlines. Travel to over 250 cities in 40 countries on American Airlines.
Two schools met in rugby last night. The Ohio State Rugby Football Club defeated Michigan State 45-10. Nate Ebner's now on the Ohio State football team. Was once a terrific rugby player on the under-19 All-American squad. He played for Team USA in the under-19 World Cup. He was MVP. Member of the football squad now, which is looking at 3rd down and 13. A fake to Hall. Miller throws a duck to a wide open receiver, Chris Fields. It didn't look pretty, but it got there. Fields down at the 34-yard line of the Spartans. 1st down on a 32-yard gain.
Just well protected, and Braxton Miller is able to read the whole thing. But Sean, the whole thing is set up by Isaiah Lewis. Just an awful read by Isaiah Lewis in the underneath coverage. He bit on play action, 3rd and 15. I don't know why, but that opened that lower quadrant up, and Miller makes the big throw.
Here comes a blitz. Miller wants to throw again. Now he's down back at the 40. Flag thrown near the end of the play.
It's William Golston right there, who's just a sophomore. Sean, he's an impressive guy.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 44. Offense. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
He'll take the down and the loss on the play that came with it back to the 40-yard line. A loss about 6.5. The fullback Zach Bourne, who's a terrific player, called for the chop block. If you're wondering, William Golston is related to Vernon Golston, who was an all Big Ten player here at Ohio State and the 1st-round choice of the New York Jets back in 2008. They are cousins.
So now they reversed that, and they took the penalty, which will, and it gave them more yardage, so it'll be 1st and pretty long.
Miller pulls it down, and Max Bullock got enough to slow him down, and then Marcus Rush finished him off. There's another flag down behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense. Number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
That's a big penalty, too.
Yes, it is. Particularly the automatic 1st down part, because they were going to have to get to the 24-yard line of Michigan State to move the chains. Now the penalty does it for the Buckeyes. The ball moved just inside the 34-yard line.
That was William Golston, the same guy who had the pass rush on the previous down. They got him for that penalty.
1st and 10, Ohio State trailing 7-0, nearly midway through the second quarter. Big Ten opener for these two teams. Jordan Hall, the tailback. Another play action pass and another wobbly throw that's caught inside, caught by the defense, ripped away by the defender Darquez Denard when it looked like Devin Smith had it in his hands for a moment. And then Denard wound up with possession. The crowd is stunned. They erupted for a moment thinking it was a huge play and that Smith had it, but he did not.
Watch Denard. He's just going to go up and just muscle it out of his hands. That's really well done. Now, it's anybody's ball once it's in the air. But Denard does a nice job of ripping it out of Devin Smith's hands and coming up with a big play.
Well, it's a turnover on the first interception of the season by the sophomore Denard. Stewart has taken over the points lead. 5-time defending champion Jimmy Johnson finished 18th last week. He's back to 10th place. Is his run of the top done? Or is it time for smoke to rise? The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow at Dover with coverage starting at 1 Eastern on ESPN with NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa. Stewart 1, Harvick 2, Keselowski 3, Edwards 4, Gordon the top 5 in a very exciting chase. Spartans, after the interception by Denard, take over their own 6. Cousins out throwing. Good catch by Keyshawn Martin. They'll give him forward progress to the 13, 7-yard gain. Bradley Roby made the tackle. The interception by Denard, the first of his career for the sophomore from Dry Branch, Georgia.
And a timely play, Sean, and able to give the ball back to this offense and allow Cousins. In that last series, that was a great throw he made on 4th down. He needs to still find his rhythm. He's not found it.
Design, quick roll to the right. B.J. Cunningham open. He got a pretty good wallop, double teamed by Barnett and Howard. 4th catch for B.J. Cunningham, 172 for his career. 1st and 10 for Michigan State.
I like the diversity in the play calling. Dan Ruchar, their offensive coordinator. That Cunningham is a guy, they have to get the ball in his hands. He generally makes things happen with the ball. Not a speed guy, but consistent, and comes down with the ball most of the time.
Back to the ground game on 1st down. Le'Veon Bell ahead for 6. We send you back to Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, TCU and SMU, they play for the Iron Skillet. And right now, SMU is taking said skillet and beating TCU over the head with it. J.J. McDermott, Terrence Wilkerson made it 14-0. Mustangs added a field goal. It's now 17-0. South Carolina trailing Auburn.
All right, Robert, thank you. While we were away, a pass from Cousins intended for Garrett Selleck was very nearly intercepted by Christian Bryant. Cousins was lucky it wasn't.
That anticipation we were talking about, Selleck didn't have. Bryant did. He anticipated that throw and nearly came up with a big play.
Bryant was a backup at the start of the year, but he won the job. Took it away from Orion Johnson. 3rd down and 4. Michigan State at its own 31. Cousins lofts one behind Keith Nickel. Incomplete pass, and Michigan State will punt. Travis Howard had the coverage.
Good coverage it was, Sean, and he was going to try to throw a back shoulder thing on that. Nickel couldn't get there. And so, as you know, if we took a step back and looked at this thing from 20,000 feet, you'd say, man, Michigan State's outplaying Ohio State the whole time. And here we are at the 6-minute mark of the second quarter, and Ohio State's 1 play away. Could be this return right here to tie this thing up.
Mike Sadler will punt. Michigan State's not done a good job covering punts this year. 117th in the nation in net punting, but they get a nice roll for Sadler. the redshirt freshman. Steve Gardner downed it at the 18-yard line. 50-yard punt for Mike Sadler. Time for today's Aflac Trivia question. We want to know who holds the Ohio State record for most consecutive career starts. Looking at the center, Mike Brewster. Today is his 41st consecutive start, but we can tell you that is not the record. Because if it was, we'd kind of be giving the answer away very quickly. And we don't generally do that. Braxton Miller, design quarterback run. That spun down at the 23. Well, actually, it was Jordan Hall lined up in the Wildcat.
Trying to establish something here against this Michigan State defense. And keep in mind, Michigan State defense, the top-ranked defense in the NCAA, #1. And today, they're playing like they had one blown coverage by Isaiah Lewis that gave up a big play. Other than that, they have kept this offense completely in check.
Jordan Hall back to his usual position as the tailback, and he's very close to the first down near the 28-yard line, taken down by Isaiah Lewis. Michigan State, #1 in passing defense and in total defense, 8th in scoring, giving up under 16 points per game. But then again, they've played Youngstown State, Florida Atlantic, Central Michigan. The one powerful opponent they played, they lost to. That was the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, although the Irish did not go up and down the field against them.
No, they didn't.
Either.
They only had 270 some yards of offense, so it's not like they gave up a ton. But now here we go, 3rd and short. Let's see how good you are in short yardage defense.
Hall lunges ahead for the first down. Darquez Denard had him around the ankles. Max Bulla also there. But it's a first down for the Buckeyes with just more than 4.5 minutes left in the first half, and Michigan State leading 7-0. 4th first down of the game for Luke Fickell's team.
Luke Fickell's offense, they desperately need some consistency, and they've got to get something out of the passing game with Braxton Miller.
Whoa! Terrell Worthy, before Miller could either complete the handoff or the fake. Don't know what it was going to be, but it doesn't matter because Worthy was not going to allow any of it, and he dropped him for a loss back at the 25-yard line.
Oh, Sean, he jumped the count and he snapped. That's a quick inside move. That's a big time. That's a big time move. That's the 2nd time that he's gotten that quick snap today. And both of those tackles are for losses.
He was a freshman All-American 2 years ago. Miller throws quickly. It's caught by Verlon Reed, redshirt freshman from right here in Columbus, his first catch of the day. They are very young at wide receiver. They'll get DeVere Posey back next week. This is the last game that the Buckeyes will play without the 4 players who had to sit out 5 games, the first 5, because of that memorabilia exchange for tattoos and cash that started all the trouble here in Columbus last season. And their offense will get a lot better when they get Mike Adams back, Dan Herron, who rushed for over 1,100 last year, Posey, a very good receiver, and they'll get Solomon Thomas back at defensive end. Of course, Terrell Pryor would have been the 5th had he stayed. And once again, Miller can't even complete his drop. Instead, he's dropped by Max Bulla back at the 22-yard line.
Sean, it's an A-gap blitz. You have to protect your inside A-gap, and it was not protected at all. That's Muhort, the left guard. He looked to next level. Max Bulla, who's playing a fantastic game here today. This first half, he has been all over the field, and that's a big play.
Bad news for Braxton Miller. The offensive line is supposed to be one of the strengths of the Ohio State offense. Timeout, Spartans.
Tonight, Betis, Levante. Later, Atletico, Sevilla. Spanish La Liga on ESPN.
Back in Columbus. Time to answer the question. We want to know who holds the record for most consecutive starts at Ohio State. You want a quick guess?
Yes, Monty.
Who?
Door number 2, I'll take Archie Griffin.
And Marty Aronoff, our crack statistician, said James Laurinaitis. We're both wrong. Wrong! Luke Fickell.
Luke.
4-year starter at nose guard back in the early 90s after he was a state champion wrestler in high school
He was
here
a
in
stud.
Columbus.
He was a legit heavyweight.
Punt by Ben Buchanan goes out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Jordan Hall heading toward the dressing room. Doesn't look to be in excruciating pain, but he heads off with 2:33 to go. Dave Warner, the quarterback coach, does a terrific job with the last word of instruction for Kirk Cousins.
Out of Lehighton, Pennsylvania.
And the Harvard of Central New York, Syracuse University.
Thank you very much. Big series here for both sides now, Sean. This is imperative right here for Michigan State to try to get some points and pad that lead. And Ohio State's got to get the ball back to give themselves a chance in this last 2 minutes.
Cousins at 4 wides to his left, throws in that direction. Le'Veon Bell, the running back, the receiver, and out of bounds at the 47 of Ohio State. 3 yards short of a first down. Tyler Moeller made the tackle. He's a 6th-year senior. Granted an extra year of eligibility by the NCAA. 1 timeout left for the Spartans. 2:15 the clock running. Cousins finds Cunningham. Whoop. He got walloped. A little late polish from Etienne Sabino. 36-yard line will be the forward progress and another first down.
Yeah, this is just well done. It's a double slant. You wait for the first one to clear. Anticipate that the second one's an inside throw with good body position. Cunningham pulls it off well.
11-yard gain. Cousins running out of time. Throws. Caught. Cunningham again inbounds. 33-yard line. Short gain. They got 3. Out of bounds. Clock stops. 1:53 in the half.
Well, we said it earlier, and you could see the catch. Perfect. Foot is down inbounds. Cunningham's the guy to get the ball to. He's the guy who's the most consistent. He will come down with the ball consistently.
His 6th catch of the half. His career high for a single game is 12. That was this year at Notre Dame. In their only loss of the year. They fell out of the rankings. They're 25th in the coaches poll. Not ranked in the media poll. Bell spins forward for a yard. Jonathan Hankins hit him. Andrew Sweat took him down to the turf.
Now we're up here talking about B.J. Cunningham and talking about what he can do for this offense. But if you look at the Ohio State defense, they're acknowledging that very same thing because they're keeping a safety over the top as much as they can to B.J. Cunningham's side. He's down here on the 1 receiver side, and they've been keeping the safety shifted to his side. You can see him right down here.
Sparty just 1 out of 5. Here comes a blitz from the linebacker. Sweat. The catch made by Cunningham, and he drags the tackler Howard beyond the first down marker to the 25-yard line. Great effort by B.J. Cunningham. First down, Michigan State.
You saw his ability to get open. Now you're going to watch just power. This is just good power strength running through the whole thing of Travis Howard, who had great coverage.
1 minute to go in the half. Cousins out of the shotgun. Ball slips out of his hand.
That's free.
He can't cover it. And Ohio State recovers. Jonathan Hankins on it for the Buckeyes.
This is about the 4th time, Sean, that we've seen a mishap with the ball. Either in the kicking game or snap from center, and this time it just falls out of his hand. He knows where he wants to go, and it just pops out the back. Hankin comes up with it. It's a big first down for OSU. See if they can't put something on the board here.
You wonder if they'll even try with as conservative as they've been They do have good field position, the 37-yard line. It was raining earlier, but it hasn't rained for a while. You wouldn't think the ball would be slick. Low snap for Braxton Miller. And pulled down again by Max Bulla. And a timeout will be called by Ohio State. So apparently they intend to try to do something with the ball here at their 38-yard line. Cousins over the sideline taking a look at a ball. Then some miscues. Hit a low snap to start the game from Travis Jackson, who immediately got rid of a glove, and a high snap by Matt Giampapa on a punt. Mike Sadler rescued it. Snapping issues for the Buckeyes as well. And this one just came out of the hand of Kirk Cousins.
Hasn't been a pretty half of football, except for Cousins' one throw to Cunningham. And really, that was on a broken play when he rolled to the right and directed him to the left to the middle of the field. Other than that, Sean, we've seen good defense by Michigan State, and then it's really not been very good offense on both sides.
These teams turned it over once. Miller threw an interception, and it looked like he had a completion to Devin Smith, but it was ripped away by Marquez Denard. Big hole for Carlos Hyde. He's across midfield to the Spartans' 49-yard line. The tackle by Isaiah Lewis. Clock stops to move the chains. 34 seconds left in the half. They'll try to line up quickly, but they're really not. You can hear the anxiety in the crowd, and now they call a timeout after they waste 5 seconds.
That's on the young quarterback.
Or the coaches.
Or the coaches. They've got to get the call in, and it's got to be made right away. And that call should have been made as they were setting the ball.
You know, once it was obvious they weren't ready. And Eamon McEnany was telling us earlier, one of the assistant coaches, Stan Drayton, had been already counseling Miller to get the play off the wristband and get the whole process moving more quickly earlier on the sideline. So we're coming up toward halftime. Stay tuned for scores and highlights from around college football. Special guest in our studio today, Mike Gundy, the Oklahoma State head coach. They had a great win that we witnessed in person last week, coming from behind down at Texas A&M, and A&M let another big lead get away today against Arkansas.
Yeah, let that one get away. And Mike Gundy has a scoring machine at Oklahoma State. They can score from anywhere on the field in just a small amount of time consistently, Sean.
And he's a dancing machine, as we saw the video from the locker room after that big win last week. 1st and 10 Buckeyes, but now down to one timeout, 29 seconds in the half. From the Spartans' 49, 7-0 Michigan State. Miller will throw the swing pass to Carlos Hyde. Danced away from Denard, and that's big because he got out of bounds, stopping the clock with 23 seconds left in the half. The kicker is Drew Basil. He has a long of 47.
You still want to gain. The clock will stop with a first down, so you have the whole field to work with. Defensively, you don't want anybody to get on top of you and to keep things in front of you, but you want to slowly bleed it and let this clock go.
Miller out of the gun, 4 receivers. He's in trouble and sacked. Back at the 45 of Michigan State. Corner blitz from Johnny Adams, and it worked.
Good call by Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator for Michigan State.
They have a timeout left, but it doesn't look like the Buckeyes are going to use it.
Braxton Miller never saw Adams off the corner. Never.
Loss of 8 to end the half, and a fitting ending to the half as these fans are aggravated with the lack of offense. "95 yards. Now 87 yards of offense in the first half for the Buckeyes after that 8-yard loss. 7-0 Michigan State. The halftime report right after these messages. the blood pressure of these Ohio State fans on the rise with the performance of the Buckeyes offense in the first half. They had just 87 yards of total offense. B.J. Cunningham, the wide receiver for Michigan State, had 90 receiving yards all by himself on 7 catches. Just a 7-0 lead for Michigan State as we get ready for the third quarter. Welcome back to Columbus. Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen. What can Ohio State do to get its offense moving?
I think the first thing they're going to have to be able to get to their short passing game. Now that's going to be a little harder and easier said than done because Michigan State has been pressing up on the outside and trying to take away the short passing game, so they're trying to force them down the field. That's the first thing. Neither team has really run the football. It's been a defensive day here. But even after all that has gone through, Sean, you and I talked about a little earlier before we came on camera. Again, just one play away from this thing being tied up. So Ohio State, as poorly as they played in the first half, is right in the middle of this.
Shutout at halftime at home for the first time since 1982. They went on to lose that game to Wisconsin 6-0. Drew Basil will kick off for the Buckeyes. Spartans to get it first in the second half. Basil kicking with a pretty good wind, and it goes through the back of the end zone over the head of Nick Hill. Here's a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Kirk Cousins 13 out of 19 and 1 touchdown on a 33-yard strike and a nice catch in the back of the end zone by B.J. Cunningham, who had a big half.
Cunningham has been their offense. But the story, though, Sean, has really been Michigan State's defense here. They have shut down this Ohio State offense, and they've given them field position, given the ball back many times.
Cousins 13 out of 19 for 149 and a touchdown. He lost a fumble, the only turnover for Michigan State. Edwin Baker out to the 26. We spoke with Mark D'Antonio last night. Said he'd like to get that tandem of Bell and Baker about 25 touches. Bell had just 6 carries in the first half and Baker 4, so you wonder if they'll try to establish a little bit more of a ground game here in the second half.
Yeah, you think you would. I really like Le'Veon Bell and Baker. Both of them are good backs, different styles, but both are good between the tackles.
Bell on the sideline at the moment watching as Baker continues as the back. Might be a lateral. Keyshawn Martin got right to the 30-yard line, then got driven back, and they won't give him forward progress for the first down. About a half-yard shy. Mark D'Antonio says, I want the ball spotted up here, but they're not going to do it for him.
Well, you're going to see why. He gets up there, and then he runs backwards. And then they give it to him right where he ended. So Mark D'Antonio was right in terms of where his forward progress was. However, he on his own impetus went backwards and tried to gain something, and in that process lost yardage.
The line to make the 30. Third down, as you can see, just under a yard. Baker is buried for a loss back at the 27. The defense led by John Simon at the bottom of the pile.
When there's something going on in that defense, you can usually bet that it's John Simon who's in the middle of it. Simon's he's just a good football player all the way around. Takes a hard inside move. The block's on him, but he continues to power through it and comes up with a big stop. Sets up fourth. That guy, he's fun to watch. That's a good football player.
Mike Sadler to punt. One of 10 freshman starting punters in FBS football this season. And his punt's out of bounds near the 32-yard line is where they'll spot it. And we welcome back in Eamon McEnany.
Well, Sean, I caught up with Luke Fickell on his way out of the tunnel, and just like Matt said, he said we are only one play away from getting right back in this game, and that's what we have to do. Start making plays on offense. He says we have to protect better and limit the penalties. One good thing for Ohio State, they'll get Jordan Hall back, bruised rib. They put a pad on it. He's out on the field and ready to go.
We'll get Dan Herron back next week after he serves the last game of his suspension today. Hall churning through the middle. Good gain on first down out to the 37. He got 5. Kevin Pickelman and Chris Norman made the tackle.
Sean, I would expect to see a heavy dose of Jordan Hall here. Get the running game established, that you know you can count on it, and then work your play action off that. I'm really surprised we haven't seen them go to the tight end off the play action.
Stoneburner seems to be a terrific receiving threat. They haven't used him much in recent weeks. Hall, first down. Out of bounds near the 46-yard line. Johnny Adams with the hit. 1st and 10, Ohio State.
Yeah, they get the edge that time. J.B. Shugarts does a nice job working on the outside against William Golston and secures that edge, and he's able to pick up the first down. But when you have this defense who's attacking the line of scrimmage, use it against them. So start one way, go the other way. That's what Hall did in that last play.
9-yard gain for Jordan Hall from Jeanette, Pennsylvania, the same hometown as Terrell Pryor. There was a lot of talk back in the day that they were a package deal, but Ohio State coaches insist that isn't true. Blitz again by the Spartans, and Hall another quality gain on first down into Michigan State territory to the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 3. Max Bulla and Chris Norman the tackle.
Nice job inside by Brewster and Mewhort, Marcus Hall, Norwell the left tackle, Shugarts the right tackle. They came out at halftime and said, listen, we are going to establish the run, and they are.
Gains of 5, 9, and 7. Sustained forward movement from the Ohio State offense, something we did not see at all in the first half. Zach Morin, the fullback. Hall follows him straight ahead, and William Golston says not this time. It'll be 3rd and 3, no gain on the play.
Sets up the big, this is a big third down. It's a big third down for Ohio State. They need to generate something, the least of which is the confidence in the offense. And I'm not just talking about in that offensive huddle. I'm talking about on the sideline as well. They've got to get some confidence, say, hey, this is what we know we can go to.
Third down 3. Miller out of the gun. Certainly a threat to run in this situation. Hands it off instead on the delay to Hall. No gain. Marcus Rush, another one of those Ohioans from Cincinnati, was upset that he was not recruited by Ohio State. He said during the week, that rubbed me the wrong way. He was looking forward to coming here to Columbus and playing against the Buckeyes.
He's a good looking player. He's got good speed off the edge. He's young. He's 250 pounds, but he's got really good instincts.
So after 3 decent runs from Hall, 2 in a row that yielded nothing. And here's Ben Buchanan, who's already punted 5 times today. Deshaun Martin back for it. And he makes a fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. 9:41 to go, third quarter, still 7-0 Michigan State. Tonight, ESPN2 and ESPN deliver 2 primetime thrillers. First at 6 Eastern on ESPN2, the 11th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies facing their first real test of the season when they host 13th-ranked Clemson. And then at 8 on ESPN, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame look to win their 3rd in a row as they take on Purdue. Both games are part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Clemson facing its 3rd straight ranked opponent, and it beat 3 top 25 teams in a row for the first time ever. Le'Veon Bell, the running back. Kirk Cousins faked it to him on 1st and 10. Zipped one to Garrett Selleck. He's pulled back, but they'll give him the 19-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 5 for the Spartans. More than 5 minutes played now. Second half, still 7-0 Michigan State.
You know, and lost in all this is Ohio State's defense has played pretty well. I mean, they've only given up maybe 160 yards of throws, and they have brought pressure. They've eliminated any big play except for one, which was the touchdown.
Buckeyes showing blitz, then backed out of it. Now Sweat does come up, and the pass flipped out quickly to Keyshawn Martin. Nice move to get away from Moeller. First down, out of bounds, and they throw a flag for a late hit. Andrew Sweat and C.J. Barnett were there.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, number 42. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
Well, the elusiveness of Martin keeps this thing going. Now watch Sweat, not at the top. Oh boy, that's a...
It's really on 4. It should have been on C.J. Barnett. He's the
I'm
one
not
that gives
even-
him the
yeah.
shove while he's well across the boundary. So 10-yard gain on the play, 15 more on the penalty. The ball at the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. 194 yards of offense now for the Spartans. Le'Veon Bell rumbles for about 10.
Sean, one of the things that Kirk Cousins does so well is at the line of scrimmage. You saw him that time. He saw what kind of front they were in. He checked everything at the line of scrimmage, put him in the right play, and then Le'Veon Bell is able to take advantage of what Kirk Cousins has already seen. Bell also ran through Sweat's tackle. That's good power by Bell.
On 2nd and 1, they throw it out to Martin. Makes a couple of men miss. Lost the football. And it goes out of bounds. Fortunately for Michigan State. They're going to mark it, it appears, back at the 35-yard line. Christian Bryant popped the ball out.
Well, Keyshawn Martin has supreme confidence in his ability to make people miss. Hey, all that is essentially is get him in space like a punt return and let him go. But you have to have great awareness and you have to have ball security. When he beats somebody to the top side, you got to know they're coming back.
8 straight completions now for Kirk Cousins. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Michigan State on the move, trying to add to a 7-0 lead. Le'Veon Bell gets 4 to the 31. Storm Klein made the tackle. Linebacker. They're really lacking that veteran presence, the leader of the linebacker position. Guys like James Laurinaitis, the last few years, Brian Roll.
Chris Spielman, Cousineau. I mean, they've had a ton of these guys here at Ohio State, and they, again, Sean, they're very young. They're young across the board, but you're right. It usually comes from that veteran guy in the middle. It's usually the middle backer.
Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator, says they're still looking for leaders on the young defense. Blitz comes from Klein. It got picked up. Cousins throws a deep ball. There are flags down. Looked like a blatant holding penalty against Michigan State. Deion Sims, the intended receiver, the tight end, running deep. Scott McElwee, the referee, is the son of the longtime terrific NFL
Holding.
ref.
Offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Bob McElwee has a lot of his dad's mannerisms in the way he signals the calls. Bob McElwee, you knew when you did an NFL game that Bob McElwee was officiating. It was going to be very well run.
Always knew that. For me, the main thing for every official is do not lose control of the game. Bob McElwee never lost control of a game.
And his son sure is making Dad proud. This has been a well officiated game today. Cousins throws short. Deion Sims, the tight end, one of 3 used regularly. Sims is the best receiver, Selleck the best blocker, and Linthicum's kind of a combination of the two, according to Dan Roshar, the offensive coordinator.
And Sims is a big man. I mean, he's 270 pounds, runs pretty good, has good hands, like Roshar said. Now here's a big 3rd down for Ohio State. They've got to stop this Michigan State. They've just been methodically coming down the field. Last time they stopped them with a big 3rd down by John Simon.
5 wide receivers, 4 to the right of Cousins. Martin came in motion and then went back. Cousins steps up again, throws on the run, incomplete. Looking for Larry Caper, came out of the offensive backfield to line up a wide receiver. 4th down and 8.
Watch inside. Guess who? John Simon again. He beats it, quick pressure, and forces Cousins to have to step up. Now, Cousins would love to have that one back. because had he just taken a half a second more, the receiver had gotten on top of the coverage shot with a little bit of air. The referee's arms might be up in the air right now.
This would be a career long for Dan Conroy if he can make it a 51-yard try. Brad Sontag is the holder. The kick is no good. Off to the right. Surprised Mark D'Antonio tried that. We've had a pretty steady 15-mile-an-hour wind or so with gusts up over 20, and Conroy kicking right into that wind. You can see how it fluttered in the breeze.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Goodyear, chosen for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. And the Principal Financial Group. It's time to see your financial future. It's time to dream again with the Principal.
Tailgate week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Getting toward that time of the day where we're getting hungry again. I don't know how you're hungry after the 12 sandwiches you had at Vladdy's Easy Living Deli
Was
yesterday here
that
in
awesome
Columbus.
yesterday?
Wow.
DeVere Posey, we happened to be there. DeVere Posey came in and said, hey, why don't you try this sandwich? It was off the charts.
Off the hook, as
It was delicious.
kids would say. 1st and 10. Ohio State from its own 34. Braxton Miller now whistle stop the play.
It's going to be on the offense.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jack Muhort, the left guard.
Sean, two guys defensively for Michigan State today who have really played well is Worthy inside 99 and Max Bulla. Both of them have had terrific games so far.
On the draw, Hall. Loss of 3 more. William Golston the tackle. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Here's a fine nominee. Illinois quarterback Nathan Shieldhouse threw for a career-high 391 yards as the Illini moved to 5-0 for the first time since 1951. He threw for 3, also ran for another. You can text VOTE to 55862.
Big win today. Come from behind win over Northwestern. The Zucker and the Illini 5-0. Miller's pass a little too high for Hyde, and he got walloped after the ball was gone, and here come the flags. Johnny Adams being congratulated by his teammates, but it wasn't a good play, and it's going to be a personal foul, I think.
The ball is over his head, and I believe Adams stuck his shoulder right in his chest.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 5, a hit against the defenseless receiver, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh yeah, I mean the ball's long gone. He's running from.
He had a chance to pull off of that.
Yeah, he took 3 steps after it was pretty apparent the ball wasn't there. And no argument from the Michigan State sideline, or should there be? So this offensively challenged Buckeye team needs some help. They get it. 15-yard walk-off to the 42. 5 minutes to go, third quarter. Jordan Hall stacked up after a gain of 1. Mentioned he was not part of a package with Terrell Pryor, even though they came at the same time from the same hometown. A lot of people thought Hall was too small, about 5'9", 190 pounds, and Luke Fickell said, I thought that too. Then I saw him in the weight room. I saw him play basketball, what a terrific athlete he was, and realized he had a chance to be a good football player, and that's what he is. He can do a lot of different things to help you win.
He does, and he does it consistently. He's really good in the return game. If he'd get a little bit more room up front, he'd show you what he could do running the football, but he's He's done himself fine so far.
The defensive front of Michigan State winning the battle against the Buckeye offensive line that was supposed to be pretty good, and they win it again. Braxton Miller taken down for a loss. Chris Norman made the tackle that time.
And Norman is just sitting in coverage. Now you see him right down here, number 10. He's just eyeballing him. You know, I'm not so sure if they didn't put a spy on him on that particular play, but Sean, that whole thing is set up. Ohio State has not, their receivers have not uncovered the whole day.
Well, one of the problems when you have young receivers, as the coaches said yesterday, they haven't been in the weight room yet. They're not as strong as they're going to be, and they have a hard time getting off press coverage at the line of scrimmage. You've made that point a couple times today, and it's true. And Michigan State is a team that likes to press their corners up on the line. Miller stumbling around, got across the line of scrimmage, and then got whacked around by about 5 different Spartan defenders. And right now, it's hard to tell what the design of the play is down to down for Ohio State, because they never seem to get into it.
Yeah, this right here, this is zone coverage in this particular time. But again, you're sitting back, and that's a tough read, particularly when you get a rush in your face right away like they did this last time. Marcus Rush again, he led the charge, and then they ended up getting the sack.
7th punt of the day for Ben Buchanan. And a good one with the wind. Fair catch signal and made by Keyshawn Martin. They're going to mark it near the 16-yard line. With under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, Ohio State has 103 yards of offense.
Wow.
Series Pan Am is being called one of the best new shows of the season, and America's new Sunday addiction. The sky's the limit for the globe-trotting adventures of ABC's Pan Am stewardesses. Don't miss it tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central on ABC. This is when we come up with the corny pun about offenses still trying to take flight in this ball game.
Yes, now would be the time.
Actually blame that on our producer, Bo Garrett. 1st and 10, Michigan State from its own 16, and a good catch. B.J. Cunningham again dragging tacklers. Travis Howard got him down after a 12-yard gain and a first down.
Sean, this is not like, look, watch, he has coverage all over. Watch him muscle that ball right through, and then he just keeps on going.
And a good catch. That ball's behind him.
Yep.
Hands catch. Reason why he's their all-time leading receiver.
It's a good player. You'd like to see him have a little bit more speed, but boy, he more than makes up for it. When the ball's in the air, he goes and gets it.
Extra tight ends into the game now, just wide out to the left. Edwin Baker across the 30 to the 31. Etienne Sabino made the tackle, and the clock will run under 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Michigan State has lost the last 7 head-to-head with Ohio State, leading 7-0. Mark D'Antonio said it was very important that they beat Ohio State. So among other reasons, it's something they haven't done since that coaching staff has been there in their 5th year. That was almost a pick 6. And if you're Kirk Cousins, you just can't do that. Keyshawn Martin, the intended receiver. I mean, right now it looks like the only way Ohio State's going to score in the game is if the defense scores, and Travis Howard had a shot at it.
That is a great play by Travis Howard. No, I should say that's a good play. The difference between a good play and a great play would have been the pick 6. That would have been great. But mechanically, he was perfect. See how he kept his inside position. His eyes came back. He was sitting in his zone. He was playing off. He was reading Cousins the whole way. Great break. Good play.
They're not very good on third down all year long. 82nd in the country at 39%. 2 for 8 today. 3rd and 8. Here comes the rush. Cousins got hit and threw a bullet right on target to Cunningham. Finally dragged down inside the 20-yard line. Cousins knew he was going to get hit, and he still threw a perfect ball to an open Cunningham. Orion Johnson took him down and saved a touchdown.
Well, guess who is going to hit him? Our guy John Simon again. But this is the perfect throw because it's a double zone. You have to be in front of the safety and on top of the corner. And that time Travis Howard got his jam and sank and he threw it to the perfect spot between the two. And Cunningham, big play again.
154 yards receiving. Coming up on a career high in that area. Baker turns the corner inside the 10 and pulled out of bounds by Christian Bryant. First and goal, Spartans at the 5-yard line.
Nicely done on the right side. Finotti does a nice job. Linthicum right there. Selleck 85. Everybody just gets a hat on a hat. Get your assignment. It's assignment football, and then let Baker power through it.
52-yard pass to Cunningham, followed by a 12-yard run by Baker. 1 minute to go. Third quarter, and obviously with the difficulties of the Ohio State offense today, any kind of a score here by the Spartans would be huge. Linthicum went in motion, flag down.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Chris McDonald, the right guard, junior from Sterling Heights, Michigan.
Sean, you mentioned earlier for Coach D'Antonio that they said, they had to win this game. And this is one of those games that's a program building game. It's one of those games, Ohio State, year in and year out, you know where they're going to be. And when you're up and coming like that, you've got to get one of these things under your belt.
As you're building the program, check things off the list. Here's another major accomplishment still to be finalized by Michigan State, a win over Ohio State. Baker slides down to the 7. It'll likely be the last play of the third quarter. Jonathan Hankins made the tackle. They shared the conference title last year. They've beaten every other team in the conference at least once under Mark D'Antonio.
They had a big win last year against Penn State to clinch that thing. They thought that was a big program game. This one is bigger.
A win on the road at Ohio State in the conference opener would be a huge way to start the conference schedule. 7-0 Spartans, but they're looking for more as we head to the fourth quarter in Columbus.
Sadoff then with the corner. And the header into the back of the net. It's Thiago Silva. Would you believe it?
ESPN3.com is available free to all Foxtel and All-Star Sports subscribers. The best of international sport on your computer, anytime, anywhere. Now for the first time, every UEFA Champions League game, live or on demand. Log on to ESPN3.com.au today.
Back in Columbus, Ohio, Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Eamon McEnany heading to the fourth quarter. The Big Ten Conference opener for Michigan State and Ohio State. The Spartans lead 7-0. Ohio State's won the last 7. The last Michigan State win is Jarrell Worthy, number 99, and his mates well know was in 1999. It was the second of consecutive wins over Ohio State. They upset top-ranked Ohio State in 1998 here in Columbus. Second and goal. Kirk Cousins gave it to Edwin Baker, and he stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And that's a half yard. Andrew Sweat at the bottom of the pile. Third down and goal from the 6. They are in chip shot field goal range, and a 2-score game would be an enormous lead for Michigan State.
I'm a little surprised, Sean, that they have not tried the play action with a throw to the tight end down here. That would have been my second down suggestion. See if they don't go with the play action move down here.
They have a lot of tight end options, 3 of them in the game, including Deion Sims, who went in motion. Baker's the running back. Long count by Cousins. Buckeyes didn't jump. They throw a fade for the tight end, and it is intercepted. Picked off on the ricochet by C.J. Barnett.
They tried to get the big man, Sims, matched up on a smaller man, and the throw was not a good throw at all. Let's see if he had his foot down when he made this. This ball, all he had to do was throw it short. Nice job of getting it tipped. And yes, he had...
Toes were close to the line. I'm sure they're looking at it in the replay booth. Bradley Roby, the tip. And
there's control. This foot's down.
Yep. And it was the first foot down as well. So that should stand for C.J. Barnett. Do you like the call? I mean, you're throwing a fade to a tight end who's 276 pounds.
He couldn't get outside position, Sean, and had he just had the realization and wherewithal, he'd have thrown that thing short.
Sideline interference. Offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. 1st and 10.
Wow.
Kirk Cousins misread that. The corner stayed high on him.
And you can't take any kind of a chance in that situation. We're telling you, it's 10-0. It might be ball game over with the way Ohio State's been playing offense today and all season long. Again, the interception ruled good, but then a 5-yard penalty for sideline interference. Joe Bosserman has come into the ball game. Flag thrown as his first pass of the day is incomplete in the direction of Zach Boren.
That looks like it's going to be a pick, Sean. There was a pick. They tried to get Bourne in the flat.
Pass interference. Offense.
Yeah, good call.
Number 80. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 1st down.
That's Chris Fields. They were going to try to slip Bourne out in the flat, and Fields is going to come down and pick the defender and allow him to get out on top. Usually that's a man-to-man call. They've been getting pressed outside. However, it was covered regardless of the pick.
Well, there's Bosserman, who was the starter in the first 3 games of the year. Had major difficulties in the loss at Miami. Was replaced by Braxton Miller, who started last week against Colorado. Jordan Hall, a 2-yard loss. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, Robert Griffin III of Baylor continues to put up ridiculous stats. Check this out. For the season, he has 17 touchdowns. For the year, he had 16 incompletions. That touchdown to Kendall Wright. Baylor is up 2 late in the 3rd, and they have the ball and drive.
Leading Heisman Trophy candidate right now, Robert Griffin III. Bosserman out of the end zone, throws short. They finally get one to the tight end, Jake Stoneburner. Haven't seen him since the early stages of the game on the receiving end of a pass. Short gain. They'll mark it at the 10-yard line. And here's the passing offense the last 3 games for Ohio State. 35 yards against Miami, 110 last week, and 60 today.
That's pretty much pathetic. They're going to have to be way better than that if they're going to think they're going to do anything this season.
Bosserman, 5th-year senior, takes the handoff. He's in trouble. Could not get away. Pulled down by William Golston, who's had a huge game for Michigan State today.
Golston ends up getting the sack, but Sean, it was meet me at the quarterback there. This is just a great job of bringing pressure all the way around. Golston ends up getting that, but boy, they had a lot of people in that backfield. This defensive line has played really well today. Golston, you see, he had the sack. He's had tackles for loss. Drell Worthy inside has gotten big push. He's taken tackles for loss. They've really been the difference in the game today.
Not a lot of room against that back line for Ben Buchanan. His punt caught by Keyshawn Martin at the Buckeye 46. Looking for blockers outside and runs out of bounds at the 39-yard line. So great field position for Kirk Cousins and the Spartans. Leading 7-0, 4th quarter. Time for our Pacific Life game summary with 11:50 to go. Michigan State still leading 7-0. The only score in this game. 33-yard touchdown pass Kirk Cousins to B.J. Cunningham in the first quarter. Part of a big day for Cunningham. 154 yards receiving, 4 yards short of his single game career high. From the 39, 1st and 10. Le'Veon Bell ahead for 3 to the 36. It'll be 2nd and 7. Joe Bosserman came in for a series. They went in reverse. Lost 5 yards of offense on that last possession. As a result, Ohio State's now under 100 yards of offense for the game at 98.
The only smidgen of offense we've seen all day in this game completely has been the passing game of Michigan State. Specifically, it's been going to one guy.
On the ground again, Le'Veon Bell out at the 33. Might even give him the 32. So a third down and short upcoming. They would be in long field goal range here to be more realistic than the one they tried at the end of the first half.
B.J. Cunningham is said receiver. That's the guy. He's made plays with tight coverage. He's been able to get himself open, and he's been the guy that has moved the chains the whole day.
Third down, a short 4. Cousins throws the slant, and Cunningham couldn't hang on.
Good coverage
by Bradley Roby.
Yeah, that was good coverage by Roby over the top, and he knows what's coming. Watch how he breaks it, gets his hand over. That just needs to be caught.
Yep.
That's the one that Cunningham, he's usually sure-handed. Not that time. Roby was on him. He had body position. He knows he should have had it.
So Conroy earlier missed a 51-yarder, which would have been a career long. That was in the other direction into the wind. This is with a pretty good breeze at his back now. They're going to mark it just inside the 50-yard line. Dan Conroy to make it a 2-score game. 49-yard attempt, and it is good. 1 yard shorter than his career long for Conroy, the junior from Wheaton, Illinois. That's a big 3 points for Michigan State, now leading 10-0. 10:35 to go.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard, and in part by Progressive, making it easy to buy car insurance.
Tailgate week. Fired up by Kingsford Charcoal from chilly Columbus. Temperature barely 50 degrees. With a cold wind blowing. Michigan State leads 10-0. Kevin Muma kicks off with 10.5 minutes to go. Jordan Hall on the return, starting at the 7. Up the near sideline. And down at the 37-yard line. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Might have been the most important play of the day, and it was good hands on defense by Darquez Denard. Looked like Devin Smith had a catch deep in Michigan State territory inside the 10-yard line, but Denard said, no, I'll take that, thank you.
Change that to good hand, because that was a one-handed catch by Denard, and it took away a potential big play.
But it's not you're in good hand with Allstate, so.
Okay, I stand grammatically corrected.
Well, did he tuck it away with the other hand? Boserman. Wow. Wow. I mean, this is just staggeringly pathetic on offense from this proud Ohio State program. They can't get out of their own way. I mean, you can't even tell what the plays are because they never get in the middle of executing any of them. They just get blown up.
You're right.
It can happen.
But there's two ways to look at it. Now I'm choosing to look at this Michigan State defense. How's that, huh?
Your glasses.
Yes, sirree. And they are playing well, though, Sean. They are coming off the ball, especially now.
Officially 5 sacks. Joe Boserman, the 25-year-old, throws a duck down the middle, incomplete. In the general direction of Devin Smith. Neither quarterback has really thrown tight spirals today. Boserman's a former minor league baseball player.
He got hit as he got let go, too. There's some.
Trenton Robinson's down for Michigan State. Kirk Cousins hasn't exactly directed a offensive explosion for Michigan State either, but it's been more than good enough. Helping Robinson off. Starting safety. When we talked to the coaches yesterday, Luke Fickell, said, is Braxton Miller clearly the #1 quarterback? They said yes.
Well, they're with him every day. They see the progress he's made. They see the potential that he has. And they see he's just a freshman, but he still obviously has to take some steps going forward. But their defense has not let them down. Their defense has actually kept them in this game.
3rd down and 15. Spartans bring a blitz again. They smell blood and they get him down again. Zadikos Allen, the linebacker, part of that blitz.
That was meet me at the quarterback. But Sean, they're running patterns that are deep, and they take a while to be able to develop. You're going, I mean, now it's a longer yardage play, obviously. That ball has got to be able to get out, and they're running. And now that was just on 3rd down. On 2nd down, they did the same thing.
6 sacks for Michigan State. Ben Buchanan punts. Legs about to fall off. Keyshawn Martin stopped after a very short return. Well covered by Nate Ebner, the former rugby star. 47-yard punt. Under 9 minutes to go here in Columbus. There is a flag on the punt. It was the 9th punt by Ben Buchanan.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team, number 10. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Ryan Shazer. You know, it's a long way down the road. It's probably a long shot that Luke Fickell would keep this coaching job going forward, but when you're trying to make a positive impression, days like today really don't help.
They don't help at all.
On Tuesdays this fall, Tim Allen returns to ABC in a new comedy about a man's man living in a house full of women. Tim Allen is the last man standing. Don't miss the series premiere Tuesday, October 11th at 8 at 7 Central on ABC. 86 yards of offense now for Ohio State with 8:52 to go. Michigan State the ball in a 10-0 lead. They begin from their own 44. Edwin Baker planted by Andrew Sweat. Here's Robert Flores with an update.
Sean, points hard to come by where you're at, but in Manhattan, Kansas, thanks to Robert Griffin III and Kendall Wright, points aplenty. 5 touchdowns for Griffin III. 4 of the 5, 35 yards or more, and Baylor leads 35-26 late in the 3rd quarter.
That's a guy, Sean, that the rest of if you have an opportunity to watch Robert Griffin III play, take the opportunity. He is special good.
I think if he gave out the Heisman today, it'd be his. High formation now. See if Michigan State gets into clock-killing mode here. Edwin Baker bounced off a pretty good hit from Sweat. Went forward for 2. Back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10. The clock runs under 8 minutes left. 105,306 the attendance here today, but there are a lot of empty seats now. These people on a cold day just don't believe that the Buckeyes can rally.
Well, not what they've shown offensively, but they've got to be pleased what they've seen out of the defense.
Larry Caper to the left of Cousins. Takes the short one, goes for the deep one, and has a man open, and Cunningham couldn't run under it.
He got Travis Howard, and Cousins knows he messed that one because B.J. Cunningham beat him. Watch this. Watch the bite. Oh, Travis Howard bit hard on that. And then, just out of his reach, and he knows it.
And Cousins has made some key mistakes today. The ball slip out of his hand for a fumble, through the interception. Down when they were at the 5-yard line going in, and that was a touchdown if you hit him in stride.
Yes, it was. You know, the one thing about Kirk Cousins is he's the type of kid who he can't forget. At this level, you got to forget everything. Move forward.
Well, let the punt roll, did Hall, and it rolls all the way down to the 7. That Dan Rochar said about Cousins yesterday, such a wonderful kid, but the one thing he does have a tough time with is getting over mistakes, tends to dwell on them. Sometimes they can lead to other problems. Back-to-back wins to start the chase. Tony Stewart's taken over the points lead. 5-time defending champion Jimmy Johnson finished 18th last week. He's back in 10th place. Is his run over? The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow at Dover. Coverage starting at 1 Eastern on ESPN with NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa. They're the very tight standings at the top. I saw a report on ESPN today about JJ was a little snippy on the radio with his crew recently, so they're a little uptight these days. Deep throw intended for Chris Fields from Boserman, incomplete.
They're a little snippy here in the stands also with a couple of the play calls and then missed opportunities, I believe.
47 plays for 86 total yards, 1.9 per play. They punted 9 times. The Ohio State sports information people are researching the last time they had so little total yardage in a game.
I wonder when the last time they were shut out at home. I can think back to 1978 when a certain Penn State team came in here and shut them out. I'm just saying.
Well, we know they were shut out by Wisconsin in 1982. Jordan Hall carried to the 12-yard line. We're told that was the last time they were shut out at home. And it could be more of the same. I mean, they have 3 more ranked opponents in a row to come. It's the 4th time in school history they're playing 4 straight ranked teams. They're at Nebraska, at Illinois, and then host Wisconsin in their next 3 games. Boserman.
What an awesome play, Sean.
By Danico Allen. You think he's an athlete, jumps in the air, kept his balance. They love it on the sideline as he managed to get Boserman down back at the 4.
This is coming to you now, and you'll see it again on SportsCenter because you don't see this very much. That is just as good as it gets. Jump over the blocker and come down with a sack, and that makes a lot of coaches happy. That's a great play.
Seventh sack. If this were a fight, it would be stopped.
Yeah.
Ben Buchanan punts it away to Keyshawn Martin. Caught it at the 49. That's spun back near the 44 by Ryan Shazer. Well, both schools have tough upcoming schedules. We mentioned 3 more ranked opponents in a row for Ohio State, including at Nebraska next week. A bye for the Spartans. Then the rivalry game with Michigan, that's in East Lansing, as is the ball game with Wisconsin. Then they go to Nebraska. Wisconsin and Nebraska in that much ballyhooed game tonight. Saturday Night Football on ABC. 7 versus 8. Luke Fickell so entrenched in his job, he said earlier in the week he didn't even realize that Wisconsin and Nebraska were playing this weekend. He might be the only football fan in America who didn't know it.
It's going to be a good game, though.
I can't see Ohio State being a contender in the Big Ten. Can you, watching their tapes coming in, I thought it was a very mediocre football team. I've heard Kirk Herbstreit say a few times this year, particularly before the season started, he thought there was still enough talent for them to be a winning team, be a contender, maybe be a 10-win team. I just don't see it. They'll be better when they get those guys back next week, but
that will happen. And they are young, Sean. They will continue to get better, but until they improve under center and until the receivers, now DeVere Posey should help them, Boom Herron should help them, Adams should help them, but until they can uncover outside, they're going to continue to struggle because this isn't all on the quarterback.
Le'Veon Bell this time. Down to the 39-yard line. Here's what they'll add next week. Those players who were suspended for the first 5 games. Michael Adams, an all-conference tackle last year. Boom Herron rushed for 1155 to lead their team. DeVere Posey, one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten.
You know, I was surprised at Sean. Devere Posey, how big he was yesterday. That's a big man. I mean, he's probably 6'3" or so. And you know he has big play potential, which they desperately need here. And then I think when you get Adams in on the left tackle slot, that's going to help them a lot because you'll be able to reconfigure your offensive line, get a little bit more settled in there. That will help. And then, of course, Boom Herron in the running game. You know, they have, you know, Hall's he's a pretty good player. But Boom Herron's a better player. So.
Yes, he is. And those players have been practicing all along for Ohio State. For the most part, they've been on the scout team, giving the defense a pretty good live look that they'd expect from quality competition.
Now, having said all that, they need one position to really mature quickly.
Well, Terrell Pryor would have been the 5th player they got back had he stayed, and you can understand why he's gone. It was probably better for all concerned that he move on, but clearly they miss him. Kirk Cousins throws, intercepted. Boy, has he made some mistakes today.
He did not look good at all.
Bradley Roby picked it off. He's thrown 4 straight incompletions, including 2 interceptions. And for a really smart guy, he makes some bad decisions.
Well, watch Roby. This is pretty good coverage by Roby.
Yeah, I mean, why are you throwing it there?
Yeah, you should. That thing should have been in the 5th row.
First career interception for Bradley Roby. And perhaps a glimmer of life for this Ohio State team. Their deepest penetration all day is the Michigan State 33-yard line. They're starting at their own 24 here. 4:24 to go and 2 timeouts. Boserman down the field. Caught by Verlon Reed, the freshman. They're going to go hurry up. Boy, rare to see a deep throw today, but they haven't had time to throw them, and the receivers haven't been able to get open. 14-yard gain there.
So they moved him away from center. And now the intermediate game is what they have not been doing all game long.
Boserman throws short. Yeah, Verlon Reed turned open. I would say this too. We've talked about Ohio State. I don't think Michigan State is on a par with Wisconsin and Nebraska at this point of the season either.
Defensively, Sean, they're going to play pretty well, and that'll keep them. They can play field position, special team, but the way they're playing offensively right now, I agree with you.
Boserman came in relief of Braxton Miller. Second and 10. Corner blitz too late. Carlos Hyde gives a stiff arm to Steve Gardner, backup linebacker. Short gain. 3rd down. They need to reach their own 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 7. And the clock is running. Boserman out of the gun. Here comes a blitz again. Gardner didn't get there, and the pass is caught. Verlon Reed to the 44 of Michigan State. They'll give him the 43. 1st down, 16-yard completion.
Well, and he's getting a little bit of time. This time he buys a little time by stepping up, and like you said, Verlon Reed comes back to that ball, and a big 1st down, and they keep it moving.
Well, the interception by Cousins has given this Ohio State team a little life. The offense for the first time today finding a little rhythm, and a timeout called by Michigan State. Full now. Those fans who have left are missing a drive by Ohio State. Started from their own 24. Now at the 43 of Michigan State. Joe Boserman given time again. Throws a deep ball. No Buckeye there. Over the head of Trenton Robinson, the safety who limped off earlier and has returned to action.
And defensively right now, if you're Michigan State, you're not going to give anything deep. And Trenton Robinson does just that. He's going to stay on top of the coverage. You can see him.
Apparently intended for Verlon Reed, who's had receptions of 14 and 16 yards on this possession. Bosserman again down the seam, too high, intended for Chris Fields. Got his hands on it, didn't catch it near the 20.
Yeah, it's a good read by Bosserman because the middle of the field's wide open. You're going to go right between those two safeties, get on top of the backers, but the ball just too high.
And wobbly.
But having said that, a big-time receiver makes that catch. You got to come down with it. This kid's got he's got some potential too, the Fields kid.
Sophomore wide receiver. 3rd down and 10.
This will be 4 downs here also, Sean.
So here comes another blitz. They pick it up. Bosserman throws short. T.Y. Williams, redshirt freshman. He was breaking open, but the ball was well short, and now they will have to go for it on 4th down and 10.
That's two throws, actually 3 throws. Those last 2, though, that's on the quarterback.
Yep.
He had time. He had his receiver. You got to make that throw.
Might be the last chance for Ohio State here, down by 2 scores. 3:11 to go. Rushes after Bosserman. He steps up, throws too high for Jordan Hall, and they turn it over on downs.
I'd like to say it was great defense. Now they did get, here comes Marcus Rush off the side, 44. But it just was not well played offensively.
In any aspect. I mean, the quarterback play hasn't been very good, but they've been under siege all day. They have wide receivers who had a tough time getting open, and the line hasn't been as good as you would expect. Last time they were shut out anywhere was at Michigan, November 20th of 1993, and as we noted earlier, they haven't been shut out here at home since 1982. 6-0 loss to Wisconsin.
This will be a heavy dose of Baker and Bell.
Le'Veon Bell, tackled by Storm Klein, under 3 minutes to go. Michigan State inching closer to its first win over Ohio State since 1999. Their first win in Columbus since 1998. Timeout Ohio State tonight on ABC, the big one in the Big Ten. 2 of the best teams in the country, the top 10 head-to-head battle. 8th-ranked Nebraska in their first Big Ten game in Madison to take on 7th-ranked Wisconsin. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC.
Sean, that one, now we talked about Russell Wilson, and he has made a difference in Wisconsin, but you've got Nick Toon outside who can uncover. You have a seasoned and big offensive line. You got James White, you got Monty Ball. They have all the things offensively to roll. And then for Nebraska, you're going to get Jared Crick back. Alfonso Denard the first time will be back. They've got speed. That's going to be a really fun game to watch.
And we will be watching it.
They're going to try to crowd the line of scrimmage and make Taylor Martinez's arm beat them.
Le'Veon Bell lost a half yard. Adam Bellamy among those making first contact.
I think one of the things that we've seen here today with Coach D'Antonio is that he trusts his defense implicitly, because he's taken some chances and said, look, they'll bail us out, and they have. They've done it all day long, and they've had some big-time play. Worthy played extremely well. Bullock played very well. Golston played very well. The secondary played extremely well.
I wondered how legit they were coming in. The numbers said #1 in the country in total defense, but they had played a pretty soft schedule up until now. I think they won a lot of believers over with a dominant performance today. Max Bulla, 3rd-generation Spartan. His grandfather, Hank Bulla, played there in the 50s. His dad, Shane,
Hank, yep.
played there and was a fine linebacker himself. Of course, Hank Bulla went on to a long and distinguished coaching career. Max Bulla with 8 tackles today. 3rd down and 8. Ohio State's out of timeouts. So Bell carries back to the line of scrimmage where John Simon made the stop. Mark D'Antonio returning to Columbus. He grew up about 60 miles from here. Had 2 stints here as an assistant early in his coaching career as a graduate assistant in the early and mid 80s. Did 2 years under Earl Bruce. And his defensive mentors, you wonder where he learned the game so well on the defensive side. Dom Capers and Gary Blackney, 2 terrific defensive minds.
Not too shabby.
Then Mark came back here in the early 2000s, 1 through 3. Defensive coordinator on that national championship team in 02. They were 32-6 here in Columbus at Ohio State during his tenure under Jim Tressel. And that's where he struck up the friendship with Luke Fickell, who was just embarking on his coaching career. As we mentioned earlier, considers Mark D'Antonio one of his best friends. They each consider the other to be among very dearest friends. The wives are very close. Their children are close. They both said all the right things. You love your brother, but when you compete against him, you want to beat him too. And at the end of the day, they'll go back to being wonderful friends. Mark D'Antonio is also very close with Jim Bowman, the offensive coordinator here. Bowman told us an emotional story yesterday, 6 years ago, when he had heart difficulties and was in the hospital. Mark D'Antonio sent him a medal that he still wears around his neck, as Jim Bowman, to this day. Sadler's punt returned by Jordan Hall to the 39-yard line. Let's send you back to Robert Flores.
Sean, defensive struggle in Columbus, defensive struggle in Columbia, South Carolina. South Carolina's Marcus Lattimore. Look at the moves to get inside and in the end zone. He only has 14 carries, but good enough for the go-ahead score. South Carolina leads 13-9 in the 4th. SMU up on number 20 TCU 33-17.
Well, that's a score that makes our producer Bo Garrett, an SMU graduate, very happy. Boserman back to pass. Off for Carlos Hyde. Tackled short of the first down by Steve Gardner, backup linebacker, another Ohioan from Dublin, right up the street. He's a junior. They're playing well off now. No timeouts for Ohio State, so the clock runs under 1.5 minutes to go. 4-man rush, and still they get to him. Marcus Rush came right through the middle of that offensive line, virtually untouched, for the 9th sack of the day for Pat Narduzzi's defense.
Narduzzi has dialed up a doozy today, and Marcus Rush has played extremely well, as has Golston, those 2 young outside guys.
3-man rush. Boserman runs across the line and slides down. He's short of the first down. And the clock continues to run. 4th down now and 3. They hardly rush. Boserman throws, caught, first down. Clock will stop for a moment. Verlon Reed, a nice catch. He's come alive here in the 4th quarter. 46-yard line, the line of scrimmage. 32 seconds left. They'll wind it as soon as they move those chains. Reed, a former quarterback, just moved to wide receiver in the spring. They think he has a bright future. Three-man rush whistles before the snap. Timeout, Michigan State. Think they want the shutout?
Absolutely, they want that shutout.
Yep. Well, they're on their way to a win. The first against Ohio State since 1999. John Cooper's Buckeyes taking on Nick Saban's Spartans in East Lansing. Bill Burke threw 2 touchdowns, one to Plaxico Burris. And the Spartans led 17-0 at the half. Buckeyes got back in the game. Steve Belisari threw an interception late. Does this sound familiar? Ohio State had 79 yards of total offense.
Yikes.
And the 19th ranked Spartans beat the 20th ranked Buckeyes. Today, Ohio State has 123 yards of offense. The year before that, in '98, we mentioned it earlier, Michigan State beat them here when Ohio State was #1 in the country. That was a crushing loss.
I remember
for
that.
the Buckeyes.
Yeah, huge win for Michigan State. Well, Ohio State has about 130 yards. There you go, 123.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ohio State defensively, when you hold a team under 350 yards, you've met your goal. They have played. They've only given up 10 points here. They've gotten some turnovers. They have played well.
Here's the stat I can't figure out having watched this game, and I'm having a hard time believing. Ohio State has the edge in time of possession.
Yikes. Is that right?
31-11 to 28-17.
Please reset the game clock to 27 seconds.
Well,
We'll show them.
oh, these fans still have a sense of humor. Big mock cheer goes up and says, well, that'll make the difference. Here comes the comeback now. Well, they can laugh for a moment, but they love this program, but so many reasons to love it over the years. But tough times now with the NCAA investigation still ongoing. Bosserman's over the line, gets the first down, and he got rocked. Max Bulla and Danicos Allen at the end of the play. They move the chains, 12-yard gain. Now a flag.
We have offsetting personal fouls. Number 18, offense, personal foul. Number 9, defense, personal foul. The penalty's offset. Second down.
T.Y. Williams and Isaiah Lewis.
Correction, first down.
First down.
33-yard line. They spike it. 16 seconds left. I mean, realistically, you have a chance to win the game, but you have to throw it in the end zone now. Because you have to score, get the onside kick, and kick a field goal at the very least. And one more little short play that eats up time, and you can forget that scenario.
And Sean, Michigan State knows that, and so on that last play in particular, they rushed 3 and dropped 8, had 3 deep and 5 under. So they're not going to get beat deep. They're not going to give up a big play.
33-yard line, the line of scrimmage, matching the deepest penetration of the day for Ohio State. They're up to 145 yards of offense. Back to the blitz go the Spartans. Bosserman throws. Caught. It's not over yet. Evan Spencer, the touchdown.
Michigan State came with a blitz. They came with a blitz. They took a chance. He rolled the dice. You'll see it come from the left side. Missed a tackle on the backside, and Trenton Robinson.
That poor tackle cost them perhaps the shutout. 10 seconds to go. Now it's still a game. And if they recover an onside kick, it's white knuckle time on the Michigan State sideline. Bosserman, the touchdown to Evan Spencer, freshman who's played very little today. Remember, that's just his second career catch. Freshman from Vernon Hills, Illinois. He's the son of the former Ohio State running back Tim Spencer, who coached here and is now coaching in the NFL with the Bears. The first career touchdown for the freshman Evan Spencer. And a big disappointment for Michigan State. They wanted that shutout. Robinson had wrapped up instead of just bumping Spencer. They were going to have to really hurry to run up and snap it again after the chains moved.
Well, I'm surprised that they came with a blitz in that situation. They've been running 3 deep, 5 under. They've been having trouble throwing against that. You're not going to give up anything deep down the field. You're going to force them to throw underneath. This time they came with the blitz instead, which I'm just surprised.
Well, at the very least, Ohio State avoids being shut out for the first time since 1993. Now Drew Basil will attempt an onside kick, and if they can recover it, faint hope is still alive. They've had a chance at it. Oh boy, it was right there on the shoulder of a Buckeye on the ground. He didn't get it. Looked like Nate Ebner had a chance at it and did not recover it. Trenton Robinson, who failed to make the tackle on the last play, came away with the ball, and Michigan State is going to win it. That ball was in the air, was on the ground. Couple of opportunities for Ohio State, but they didn't corral it.
You got a Buckeye down over there on the far side of the field also.
Verlon Reed, the freshman wide receiver. Who helped them rally offensively here in the fourth quarter. 4 catches. He's their leading receiver for the day.
Ryan Shazer is the talented freshman who had a shot at that thing, Sean, and it was up in the air. He had an opportunity, and then it turned into a scrum, and Robinson came down with it. Now watch, you can see up on the top, the third guy in, number 10. Ball is up nice and high where it should be. Gets a great jump. Now watch.
Yeah, and then it's on the ground right there for Ebner, and he couldn't corral it either. And he's used to being in those scrums. He's a former rugby star, the international level. Wow. Shazer and Ebner.
Linthicum had Shazer's left arm. Had he not had that arm, he had an opportunity to bring that one in.
They knew on that sideline they had a great shot at it, but they didn't get it. All they have to do now is take a knee, and the Spartans will have their first win over Ohio State under Mark D'Antonio. In their 3rd try. It's his 5th year, but they didn't play each other the last 2 years. They'll go to 4-1 for the year, 1-0 in conference, with 3 more ranked opponents their next 3 games. And D'Antonio over to shake the hand of his longtime very close friend Luke Fickell. They're 3-2. The Buckeyes 0-1 in the conference, and they have 3 more ranked opponents consecutively upcoming. 10-7 the final for Matt Millen, Eamon McEnany, and our entire crew. Sean McDonough saying so long from Columbus. Let's send you back to the studio.